Hey, Alvin. And how has your day been? I'm here. Yay! And can you hear me okay? Okay, yes, you can. What's the topic? Okay, wait a minute. I'm watching videos about Taylor. Nice. Since she announced Speak Now, Taylor's version. Yes! The other night. Okay, I see. Hey, Wild Bill. Hey, Robert. From a new place today, I see. No, I'm streaming from StreamYard. That's where I usually stream from. Oh, hang on. Oh, to see her aunt. Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. I got a message from somebody. It was important. The location of your. Oh, der. Should have known that. Yes, I'm actually sitting where I normally sit when I'm in my living room with my feet propped up. And this is obviously the bookshelf behind me. Yeah, I usually stream either from my kitchen or from my bedroom. I don't normally sit here and stream. Keep you posted on my stuff. Okay. So, how has everybody's day been going so far? And well, Bill, how's your health? I know it was good the other day when we talked, but I like to keep a check. Oh, and are you still going to the gym? I can't believe it took me that long to realize what you meant. Good to hear. All right, good. Glad to hear it. Oh, how is your all's weather? Because for some reason today it started raining and got chilly. I am not happy about that. Same. Not right now. Okay. Weather's getting nicer here finally. Oh, good. Windy. Okay, okay. I kind of hope you are getting the weather that I'm getting, just not this part of it, because yesterday and day before, it was really nice out. Now, today is when it started raining and got a little bit chilly. But right before we got that really nice weather, we had a couple days that I promise you, it just felt like it was so windy. If a small child went outside, they would blow off. Just gone. Nice here, but it's supposed to rain later tonight. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, Justin, how you doing, hun? How has your day been? Oh, and Justin, I did check. I am subscribed to your channel. I thought I was, but I wanted to make sure. Damn the devil. I hope you get the nice part of the weather, not the cold and rainy. It's been good. I'm great. Good. Glad to hear it. So our internet went out and was out for probably, I don't know, maybe an hour. How long does it take to listen to Shania Twain's new album? Because I listened to her new album on my little MP3 player twice before the internet came back on. All the way through, I mean. Well, I did skip one song, but so that's how long the internet was out. And since it just came back on, and I was sitting here going, well, now what do I do? Ooh, I wonder if anybody's busy right now. Ooh, I think I'll stream. About 51 minutes. About 36 minutes for the standard. Okay, I'm pretty sure I was listening to the standard plus 2 songs. So yeah, about an hour. Oh, and then I listened to, Anti-Hero. Because, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I was the only one that'll get that. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I listened to that one a couple times before I quit. And today's stream is brought to you by corn dogs. Oh my God. Yes, yes, Alvin, definitely. Yes. Read my last comment. Okay, hang on. Let me scroll. The last comment that you made that I see is, it's been good. I'm great. That's the last thing I see from you, Justin, up until you said, read my last comment. I don't know if I should do this. Would one of you guys be nice enough to post the link to my live stream in your guys' group? I don't mean the group I'm in. I mean the other group. Get a chance to watch the Bejeweled music video yet? Oh my God, yes. Yes, I did. And I freaking love it. And actually, yes, I had seen it before. I just didn't remember the name of it for some reason. Because as soon as it came on, I was like, oh my God, I've seen this. I freaking love this. That's what she said. Posted. Thank you, Robert. Hey, country fan, how you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Actually went out and did my laundry today, so that accomplished something. Yep, so I got that done, got that out of the way. Mission accomplished. Yes, yes, it is. Okay. I want to say something, but I'm not sure. What's up? Not much. What's up with you? Watched an episode of a show today I've not watched in years, and I enjoyed it. Oh, what'd you watch? Ooh, tell you what I've been watching too while he answers that question. I have been watching. Oh, that's right. That's right. Hold on. The Duke Boys, aka the Dukes of Hazzard, the original Dukes of Hazzard. Used to be on CBS at 8 o'clock on Friday nights. Yes, I still remember because I used to watch it every week when it came on. Oh, yeah. Well, I gotta have something to watch until they, put up oh god, yes, yes, it is. I have to have something to watch to kill time until they start airing the new episodes of King of the Hill and Futurama. Happy about it? Yes, yes, I am. Can't go wrong with that. That's right, that's right. I just finished season 1, which actually that only had oh my god, did it have, like, 10 or 11 episodes? It was very short, in my opinion. I think season 2 is longer. I think I'm 2, maybe 3 episodes into season 2. Tales from the Crypt, season 2, episode 2. Nice. Never really been a fan of the show. I don't have anything against it. I just don't think I've ever even watched any of it. But I know you have been a fan of the show for, God, probably longer than I've known you. Oh, nice. Dude, that is awesome. Oh, well, of course. Yeah, gonna have some John Wayne now. Ooh, I love it. Good until you get to the 7th season and episodes start to suck. Oh, okay. So it's kind of like Once Upon a Time. It was great until they got to the last season and then they tried to do a soft reboot kind of thing. Um, and that last season wasn't great until they got to like the last episode. The last 15-20 minutes of the last episode is the best thing about the last season. Is everything going okay? Eh, is this stream you were thinking of doing? Well, I was thinking about making that stream. I'm just not sure because if I do, it might end up being really long. Moved the film from the United States to the UK. Well, that was part of the problem. And then the show started to suck. Justin, do you know if they got different writers when they moved it? Because sometimes the writing has a lot to do with it. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Yes, yes, it is. And usually when they move a show like that, do it, do it, do it. Okay, if I do this, one, it may end up being a really long stream. And two, it's a subject I don't normally cover. And three, it may offend you. And I know you guys have no judgment, okay? But because we know each other well enough, it may actually offend you and y'all may go running, screaming the other way and never come back. I'm just putting it out there, okay? Just kidding. Don't encourage her. Controversial. Yes. Nothing else to do, so I'm fine with it being long. That's what she said. Because you may offend all of YouTube. That's a just no, actually only part of YouTube. Then you were probably joking. No. I can pretty much guarantee you it will come across as offensive to a lot. Some like the long ones. Yes, yes, they do. Country fan laugh. And size don't matter. It's all about finding the sweet spot. But some people do like the long ones. They prefer them. Yes, they do. Giggity. Giggities. Okay, this is going to get real serious real fast. And it will get serious as soon as I start the subject. Yes, and I wasn't aware you could see the description. Surprise at work one morning. Oh, what kind of surprise? How come you can see the description and I go, oh, right, because you're on YouTube. Never mind. um, okay, it goes like this. I no longer believe what I was taught my whole life. I was raised in a Christian based family, but my mind has started to work and ask questions over the past few months. And I've started to question things that I've never questioned before. I have always just believed without question, without doubt. I've always just believed because it's what I was taught. I believe what I was taught. Yes, Alvin. Okay, but because of how my mind has been opening and the questions that I've had over the last all the try that again, over the last few months, um, my views have changed, and I no longer believe the things I was taught. Okay, the loving, merciful, forgiving God that I was taught about my whole life. I no longer believe that that specific God exists. I'm not saying there's not a God. I'm not saying there's not a higher power. But the God that you read about in the Bible, I was taught for my entire life that he was a loving, merciful, forgiving God. I don't believe that that specific God exists anymore. I mean, I don't believe it anymore. But there are reasons that I don't believe it anymore. Okay, because I was taught that that's the God that you read about in the Bible, the loving, merciful, forgiving God. And if any of you are anything like me, you take it on faith that that's true because that's what you've been taught. That's what you've been taught to believe. That's the God you've been taught to believe in. And it was one simple comment, just a passing comment from a friend about 2 or 3 months ago that caused my mind to click. It was like the tumblers suddenly fell into place. And in my mind, I went, huh, why? Okay. Well, that why led to other questions. And the more questions I had, the more questions it led to. And when you start asking anyone with a Christian-based faith those questions, most of the time, all you're going to get is what I call cop-out answers. What was the comment? It was something like, there will be suffering. There will be a lot more suffering. And for some reason in that moment, my brain went, why? And for some reason, it was like this floodgate opened. In that moment, it no longer made sense to me, and it caused me to start asking questions. Okay. Oh, the cop-out answers. God works in mysterious ways. God has his reasons. We may not understand why, but God has his reasons. Those to me are cop-out answers, okay? It just, to me, it basically means you don't know either. You don't want to admit that you don't know. So you're going to give the answer that you have been given anytime you have had a question. Oh, God works in mysterious ways. Does he? Okay. That to me is just a cop-out answer. Yes, Alvin, that was it. No, on Earth. Here's the thing. If you go pick up your Bible and you open it up and you start reading in Genesis, first book of the Bible, God creates the world. God creates everything in the world, and he creates Adam and Eve. Okay. Now, sometime in that general time frame, it was after he created Earth, but either just before or just after he created Adam and Eve, there was a battle that took place in heaven. This is what I was taught. And Lucifer tried to take over heaven, so God cast him out. And he cast him, wait for it, down to earth. Okay, he creates Adam and Eve, and he gives them free will. He places them in the Garden of Eden, which is this beautiful, perfect place. Okay, so now you've got mankind and free will and the perfect place for them to live forever. And he tells them, you can eat from any of these trees except this one. Battles between good and evil here on earth and why God and Satan exist, or at least that's what I've always been told. Okay. All right. The serpent, which I take to be the devil, tempts Eve and lies to her and tricks her into eating from that tree. And then she gets Adam to eat from it. Okay. Well, when they ate from the tree, I think three things was supposed to have happened. Sin was brought into the world. Death was brought into the world. And they gained the knowledge of right and wrong. Okay, hold on. He created mankind. Yeah, but hang on. He created mankind and gave them free will. but he didn't give them the knowledge of right and wrong. So they can choose because they have free will, but they don't know the difference between right and wrong. Okay, well, they chose wrong because they ate from the tree. But they didn't know they were doing wrong because they didn't know. They didn't have knowledge of right and wrong. Okay, so he gave them free will so that they could choose what they wanted. But then when they chose wrong. But they didn't have knowledge of right and wrong until they ate from the tree. So he punishes them by casting them out of the garden and making their life a living hell, basically, and making them suffer. Wait for it. He didn't just punish them, he punished them and every single human being ever born on earth from that moment all the way until the end of time. How is that loving? How is that merciful? And how is that forgiving? Okay, and technically, they didn't bring sin into the world when they ate from that tree because Satan lied to Eve to trick her into eating from that tree. Lying is a sin. Satan lied to her before she ever touched that tree. So, lying is a sin. Satan lied first. Satan brought sin into the world, not Adam and Eve. And if God hadn't put that tree there to start with, that wouldn't have happened. Wait, there's more. And if when he cast Lucifer out of heaven, if he had just cast him down into hell and trapped him there forever, none of this would have happened because he wouldn't have been here to tempt Eve. Okay? You can't give somebody free will so that they can choose the path that they want and not give them knowledge of right and wrong and then punish them when they choose wrong. They didn't know they were doing wrong. They didn't have knowledge of right and wrong because they didn't gain that knowledge until they ate from the tree. There is nothing merciful or loving about that. That's a trap. It's like he set them up to fail. I'm going to give you free will so you can choose. And even though I didn't give you the knowledge of right and wrong, and you're not going to understand that you're doing wrong because you have no knowledge of right and wrong, I'm going to punish you for the rest of your life and everybody else that comes after you if you choose wrong. Okay. Now, when he created Adam and Eve and gave them free will, he gave them two choices. Okay. And where most people think, oh, this is great. Okay. He gave them free will so that they could choose. Okay. Now they have two choices. This is not about the tree. This is a different thing. Um, okay. He's not going to make us do anything. Okay. He lets us choose. That's the whole deal with free will. Okay. And this is the choices he gives you: worship him and only him, or burn in hell for eternity. There's no middle ground. There is no in between. It's worship him and only him, or burn in hell for eternity. What the hell is merciful and loving about that? Yes, exactly, Wild Bill. But they punish Okay, that's a perfect example. I'm a parent. I understand that, and we understand it because we were punished when we did wrong. But they didn't, how do I say this? When my son did something wrong when he was growing up, okay, I had to teach him the difference between right and wrong. And when he did something wrong, if it was severe enough, I would punish him for it. But I punished him then, either by spanking him or grounding him. And when whichever one I chose was done, it was over. I didn't punish him and all his kids and everybody that was born on earth after him. I punished him for his mistake. I didn't punish everybody until the end of time for what he did. And that is what this God did, if you believe in the Bible, uh, when Adam and Eve made, wait for it, their very first mistake. That's the first time that they did something that he told them, don't do that. So for the very first mistake that they ever make, he punished them and every single person on earth ever born from that moment until the end of time. And I mean, literally, until the world ends. What? That's not loving. That's not merciful. That's not forgiving. At all. If he had just punished them a little bit, that would have been understandable because they did something he told them not to do. Just like we punish our kids when they do something we tell them not to do. But he didn't just punish them. He went straight to hardcore. Let's punish everybody ever born on earth from this moment until the end of time. How is that merciful? How is that loving? I understand people make mistakes, and sometimes when people make mistakes, they get punished for it. Consequences. Every action, actions have consequences. But damn, that's not loving. That's not merciful at all. That's not forgiving at all. Okay. He knew man would keep sinning. Yeah. But it's insane. Well, Alvin, the one that we learn about in the Bible, I kind of get the impression that may actually be what he is. Because look at what he does. And I'm not being mean or cold or I'm seriously, this is how my mind has opened and I have seen things that I've never seen before, like what he did to Adam and Eve and everybody that comes after them. Look what he did to Job. Well, I mean, he didn't do it himself, he allowed it to be done because of a conversation that he had with the devil. Which, and no, I'm not quoting this, I don't think this even qualifies as paraphrasing, but basically, him and Job had a conversation, or I mean, him and the devil had a conversation about Job, and Job was great, and Job was so faithful, and Satan was like, "Yeah, well, it's because everything's going good. If everything went bad, he wouldn't be like that." So basically, it's well, he's just that way because everything's going good. I could take from him, and then he wouldn't be that way. And God's like, "Okay, go ahead, take everything he's got. He's still going to be faithful." Okay, so Job just went through living hell on earth, no pun intended, lost everything he had, Because he did something wrong? No, no. Because God was trying to prove a point to the devil. Again, how is that loving? How is that merciful? How is that forgiving? Job didn't do anything to him. Job didn't do anything wrong. Everybody talks about the patience of Job. Okay, this is why they talk about the patience of Job, because of everything he went through. But that was just cruel. That man hadn't done anything to deserve all that he went through. But God stepped back and let Satan do it just to prove a point to the devil? Okay, wait. Hang on. Yes, he did, Wild Bill, but my point was he never should have had to go through that. He hadn't done anything to deserve it. But God let it happen to prove a point to the devil. That is cruel. That's not loving and that's not merciful. That is flat out cruel. And free from sin in the afterlife. Walk the streets of God with Jesus. Okay, but if the way that I was taught, if you don't accept Jesus as your Savior, when you die, you go to hell. Okay, again, that's worship me and only me or burn in hell for eternity. So even if you lived a perfectly good life, you were a great person, you helped people, you did everything you could for other people, you improved people's lives, you improved the quality of life on earth, but you just so happen to not accept Jesus as your Savior, even though you were a great person and you lived a wonderful life here by helping other people and improving the quality of life on earth, you're still going to burn in hell. Meanwhile, this guy that was a serial killer that killed 200 people at the very last second of his life, right before they throw the switch and kill him, he finds God and goes to heaven. So now you have a person that was a wonderful person burning in hell for eternity, and a person that was a serial killer and tortured and killed people. He's in heaven. That makes no sense to me. Okay, and his people wandered in the desert for 40 years because they doubted that they could win a battle. 40 years until probably 99% of that specific generation died off. And Moses led them for 40 years in the desert, just wandering in the desert. Desert is not a good place to be. Well, from what I've heard. Okay. And when they almost get there, he makes one mistake. And because he did, God won't let him enter the promised land. He will let him see it, but he won't let him go into it, even though he led God's people in the desert for 40 years because he tapped the rock rather than speaking to the rock. That is a very simple mistake. But instead of just forgiving him for it and being understanding about it, he refused to let him enter the promised land. Again, not loving, not merciful. Kept doing stupid shit too. Yeah, they did. It just, his response to things makes no sense to me. Okay. Um, he wanted his people, I guess you would call it his people. That's what I refer to it as. Anybody that worshiped him. That's what I call his people. Okay. He wanted them to sacrifice animals to him. Okay. To be forgiven of their sins. It's obviously this was before Jesus. Okay. Um, okay. God doesn't need food. God doesn't need water. But he wanted them, in order to be forgiven of their sins, go to your flock and pick out the best one, the best animal. It couldn't be just any one, it had to be the best one. And sacrifice it to him. Okay, he's having people kill animals for him. People that kill animals this day and time are considered serial killers, or at least the start of a serial killer. All right. So even though he doesn't need food, and they obviously do, he wants them to slaughter an animal for him. Okay, and then he chooses to let his only son, maybe I should say his only begotten son. I know that's the way it's written. Um, his only child be brutally beaten. Killed them himself with blood. Okay, hang on. Um, be brutally beaten mercilessly. And I mean, he didn't just he wasn't just killed, he was brutalized and then hung there to slowly die and then raised him from the dead. Um, oh my God. And yeah, killing them with the flood. Okay, that's a prime example right there. He killed everybody on earth with the big ass flood except for Noah and his family. Again, that is not loving. That is not merciful. Okay, and he is, if he is who people have taught me he is my whole life, he is, and I know there's a word for it, but I'll just say all powerful. Nothing is more powerful. Nothing or no one is more powerful than God. Okay, country. Okay, so, and God can do anything. He can do anything he wants. All he has to do is, well, do it. I mean, he don't even have to speak it, as this is the way I take it, okay? He is so powerful that whatever he wants done, he could just think it and it would happen if he so wills it. So he could literally have gotten rid of all the evil. I know people say you can't have good without bad. You can't have light without dark. Yes, you can. You can if God willed it. He could have willed, he could have stopped it right in the beginning. And if he knows everything, he knows what's going to happen then, now, and forever. Okay? Why would he even bother? He already knew what was going to happen before he ever created the world and us and everything in the world. He knew this was going to happen. What was the point? Seriously, what was the point? It's like it's almost like he's sick and twisted, if he actually exists. He's sick and twisted enough to let this stuff happen. Okay? People say, "Oh, well, everything happens because God wants it to." God has a plan for everything. Everything happens for a reason. And I used to say that a lot. But when you think about that, when people say, well, God has a reason, God has a plan, it's all part of God's plan. Really? Really? What kind of loving, merciful God has a plan that involves things like small children, infants, toddlers, and even just a little bit older than a toddler being molested, raped, brutalized, murdered? These are innocent kids, babies, infants. What kind of a loving, merciful God has a plan that involves that? People are the same way. I'm guessing you mean they're the same way now as they were when he killed everybody with the flood. Tell me if I misinterpreted that. But I mean, right in the beginning, right in the get go, this is what gets me. When he created Adam and Eve and gave them free will, he didn't give them knowledge of right and wrong. They didn't know that they were doing wrong because he didn't give them the knowledge of right and wrong. Welcome back, country. So, even though they didn't have knowledge of right and wrong, when they ate from that tree, this makes no sense to me. Why would you do that? He gave them free will so that they could choose whatever they wanted. But he didn't give them knowledge of right and wrong. What I mean, people can choose to stop some things too. But to stand there and do nothing. Yes, okay. Yes. But I mean, how can he hold the entire world forever to the end of time accountable for what happened in that moment when they didn't know they were doing wrong? Because they had no knowledge of right and wrong until they reach out and bit that fruit. It was only then, in that moment, they gained the knowledge of right and wrong. Until that moment, they didn't know. They had no knowledge of right and wrong. So how can he punish them that severely for something they didn't know was wrong because they didn't know wrong existed? It's insane. That is not loving or merciful. That's twisted. And most people will not question this. They just believe. And I did for almost 52 years. I just believed, oh, he's loving, he's merciful. But if you sat down for 5 minutes and just start to ask questions, To yourself, not to the people around you, because that's never going to work. Because when you start questioning the people around you, they lose their ever loving minds. But I mean, if you just start to think, he did this, he did this, he did that. How is that loving? How is that merciful? How is that forgiving? And the more you question it, the more you start to see, oh my God, I have been taught this my whole life. And what I'm realizing is not like that at all. It's crazy. It's insane. And it's scary as shit. So this is why I say I no longer believe in the God that I was taught about my whole life. That loving, merciful, forgiving God that I was taught about is supposed to be that God in the Bible. I don't see that when I am looking in the Bible. I don't see the loving, merciful, forgiving God. Okay, I know I have probably either scared y'all shitless, offended the hell out of you, or, you know, I'm not sure where else to go from there. But I do want to ask a question. Do you think, in your honest opinion, in whatever faith that you have, whatever beliefs that you have, do you believe losing your temper, getting really angry and doing something you shouldn't do? I don't and killing somebody, not that far, just doing something that you probably shouldn't have done. Do you think that's wrong? Or do you think it's situational? Okay, good, Alvin. Early birthday card? Oh, nice. Oh, from your manager. Okay, yeah, I'm reading it now, Justin. Doesn't happen very often. Oh my God. I'm so happy for you. For me personally, I kind of think it's a bit situational, okay, because you can't expect to back me up into a corner and me not lash out or react in any way. But that's just my opinion. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to finish what I was saying before I invited anybody on screen. And yes, I'm working on giving you a wrench too. Yes, there is a specific reason I asked that question, because it wasn't until recent months that something dawned on me. And I've read this myself, but for some reason, and it's not like I didn't understand it. It didn't like go over my head. It's fairly plain. Jesus actually lost his temper once. And why that never dawned on me before, I don't know. Because it's not like it's written in parables or something. It's plain. He lost his temper in the temple and flipped tables. Fight with my sister. Uh-huh. Ah, in the heat of the moment. Yeah. And Robert has gotten really quiet, so he's either run away or I have offended the shit out of him. Or Robert, I don't expect you to believe what I believe. Y'all know that, okay? This is just new to me, and my mind is opened, and there is no going back. We shouldn't judge, okay? We'll be judged, yeah. Just listening, okay. Yes, exactly, country fan. Not ignoring you. Working on. No, that's not it. Um, I don't know which channel that is, and I don't think I can get to it. Hang on. Somebody, real quick, Robert or Wild Bill, one of you two, send me the link on Messenger to Wild Bill's channel that he's on right now. Hey, Caden. To ask myself, is it worth getting mad about? Okay. Oh, and hey, Caden. I wasn't aware that you were here.
Hey, Trish.
Hey.
So ask myself, what's getting mad?
Hi.
Hmm.
Give me just a second, guys.
Okay. Hmm.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay. Um, you are.
Oh, there you are a while bit ago.
Why is that?
Okay. Make a comment and see if you've got a thing.
Okay. Oh, I got a thing, but
Oh yeah, I got a thing.
no, you didn't mean that one. Though.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean that one. No second.
One.
Oh, you got a wrench while Billy go. Yes, you do.
Okay, it worked. Okay, whew. That took a little longer than it should have, but out of practice.
And that's the way the cookie
That's what she
crumbles. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, the hell. Hill's not
Yeah.
here. She still uses her magic powers.
Well, first of all, Trish, I got some things I want to say, and believe me, I understand where you're coming from. Okay, but I want you to hear me out.
Okay.
First of all, I will say this. Okay, now I question a lot of things that happen in the Bible too. It's my whole thing is this. Okay, I don't think we're ever really supposed to understand everything, and I think we're always going to question everything. Okay, but here's something that sort of kind of got to me, right? Okay, now think about this. Now, God created heavens and the earth. He created the angels, and in angels, He also gave them free will. Okay. Now, what I don't understand is, right, like you take somebody, I give you an example like Lucifer, right? And if people don't understand this, Lucifer actually means light. He was supposed to be like the angel of light or whatever it is, right? So what made him think, for one, that he was going to overthrow God and sit on the throne of heaven? The guy that created you, okay? The guy that, I mean, what makes you think that you have that ability to begin with? Okay? I mean, I just don't see it. Okay? So therefore, you know, that just shows you how stupid he was. Okay? That's the first mistake he made. Second, see, here's the whole thing, Trish, and this is how I perceive it. Satan's always been mad because, one, he was jealous of God. And because he was jealous of God, he wanted to rule heaven. And because he tried to overthrow God, him and his little minions that I guess maybe had a hand in talking him into it, got cast out of heaven. Okay? So, therefore, he's like, well, you know what? I'm going to lead his people astray because I don't want anybody following this guy because of what he done to me. So his goal, the rest of his eternity, is to make you do everything you can not to go to heaven. But my thing is too, if you've done stupid stuff like that, why would you want? I would be like, I would actually, after that, I'd have been like, hey man, you don't want to come here, dude. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to come down here and burn and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But no, this dumb fool thinks that, you know what? I guess he's like one of those people is like he can never have like too many people around him, I guess. So he's like, hey, the more people who come here and suffer along with me, the more the merrier. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand that part of it either, but I get it in a way because you got to understand that's just like, you know, that old saying, misery loves company.
That's it. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah. Okay. So, how else do I want to explain this to? Now, as a person that has had trouble with his faith many times, I mean, I've gone up and down. You know, I've questioned a lot of things too. you know. And sometimes I admitted one time that sometimes I felt like I was put on this planet just as a like a guinea pig, just to have shit thrown at me to see how I react to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, what's my response to it? Sometimes I felt like that before, but I also have seen things to make me know that, like, okay, um, yeah, I've just seen like too much good. There's a lot of bad stuff in this world, and sure, God can do whatever He wants to. But here's the problem with this, Trish, and here's the thing that gets me.
Mhm.
You've got so many people nowadays, and I can understand why. I see it from both sides. Okay, I can understand why people don't believe in a God. I get it. Okay, or believe in why the things He does, they question it. I get it. Believe me, I'm on both sides of the spectacle here. Um, oh wait, what the hell? Hold on. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My
Why
computer
is
just
your?
acted stupid for a minute. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, um, so my whole it's kind of like when you were saying they wandered around in the desert for 40. Okay, they cried out for God to free them from slavery. Okay, well eventually He did. He sent Moses. Okay, but then they get in the wilderness. Okay, they're wandering around, and what do these fools do? They make a golden calf to worship.
Mhm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so really, honestly, if you think about it, a lot of the choices we make, and I understand, sure, God can do anything He wants to, but the less people that believe that He can, He's just gonna be like, okay, well, you know what? Hey, you don't believe it? Why should I even interfere? And like you think with Job, like you said with Job, he had everything taken away from him, but God gave it back to him because he kept his faith. Okay, and I understand sometimes. Yeah, it's tough. You know, it really is, and I falter all the time. You know, but I just believe that there's something out there that just if my whole thing is Trish, if you don't believe in something, right,
Mhm.
then there's no hope in the world. Okay, I understand that it's just like if you think about it, if you think about it, like you talk about how like sometimes God, you know, He won't do this and He won't do that, but that's just like our parents. Sometimes our parents are supposed to be in a way our beings over us, right?
Mhm.
But yet sometimes, you know, they're, you know, they don't always do the right things either. They don't always teach us right either. They don't always like they pass down their sins to us and stuff like that. The things they do. So it makes you wonder. Like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, and I'm kind of losing what I want to say when I get to talking like this sometimes. But I just believe that if you don't have a hope in something, then what the point is? And one thing I did want to say too, though, if you think about it, like all the other religions, if you ever notice though, in all the other religions out there, their God asks you to sacrifice yourself for Him. Okay,
Hold on.
right? Like, okay, if you die at like, I'll give you an example. The Vikings believe that if you died a glorious death and you died on the battlefield with the weapon in your hand, and you get to dine in the halls of Valhalla with Odin. Okay, um, you know the Muslims sort of kind of have a same thing, and they believe if you die righteous, you'll go to heaven and get 70 virgins and stuff like that, right? Okay. But all of them ask you to sacrifice yourself for them. But how many other religions has their God give their son to die for you? That's almost like that would be like you dying for your kid. You know what I'm saying? There's no greater love than that. You know what I'm saying? Like if it came down, like let's put it like this: if it come down between you living and Rabbit living, right? I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, I'd step in front of a bullet for him.
That's what I'm saying. So when Jesus died on the cross, not only did he die for my sins, he died for yours too. And hell, we wasn't even alive then. I get the whole salvation.
No, it's chocolate. Oh my God.
But you have to think about something too, though, Trish. You have to look at this is where it all but this is where it all confuses people, okay? People don't understand it. God, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost is all one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I've always been taught.
So when people ask, well, how does God understand my suffering? Because he felt pain too. The human form of him, which was his son, Jesus, felt pain. He died, but he also came back to life. But see, our life after is eternal. But so is his. But still, it's the whole purpose of, like, you want to know. I believe this, and I honestly believe that the reason why a lot of stuff is the way that it is, and why God doesn't intervene, is because people keep choosing not to do the right thing. Okay. Why he punished everyone, that I have no idea. I'm thinking that it was like, okay, I don't know that I see it as a punishment. I just see it as like, okay, this is because one person messed up. Okay. I guess you look at it like this. When sin and death and all that came into the world, it was from that point on that man was going to have to, because see, if they would have never sinned, here's the funny thing, they didn't know right and wrong, but sin still existed in a way, because here's the thing, without sin, Adam and Eve would still be here. Without free will, Adam and Eve would still be here.
Okay, hold that thought.
Okay.
Is talking to him. He's not screaming. He's actually giving his point of view. He's not giving a cop-out answers. Oh, God works mysterious way. He's not doing that shit. He's actually giving actual answers. Okay, I'm back. I had to go get my coffee.
Okay. So think of it this way, Trish. Okay. Death and sickness and sin and all this, right? Okay. Was brought on because, sure, if Adam and Eve had never been tempted by the devil to eat the apple, right? Then we wouldn't know sin today as we know it, okay? It was almost like his punishment of death was almost like a rule for, it was almost like a law for mankind after that. So you think about something. How you think laws come into effect? Someone has to do something wrong for them to say, okay, that's just like, no offense, that's just like some of these gun laws, right? Okay. You wouldn't have to have gun laws if people didn't do stupid shit, right? Now, I still am being punished in a way. Like, say I wanted to go out tomorrow and buy a handgun, right? I still have to get a background check, even though someone else done something just the same. My whole thing is I got to get a background check, even if I have a squeaky clean record. Okay? I have nothing on my record. I still have to get a background check
Because somebody else fucked up.
Because somebody else fucked up. So technically, if you really look at it, man still punishes everybody else just the same as the Lord does, in a way, right? Think about it.
Right.
It's almost if like the laws that He set down for us are the same things we're still doing to ourselves. So technically, we're the ones that are causing a lot of this problem. Because, like I said, even though Adam and Eve, because he put death upon people because he knew someone else was going to sin. That's just like a gun law. You have to have a background check because some dumbass out here is going to go illegally going to try to get a gun knowing that they can't get one. So to deter them from getting it, this law says, okay, it's almost the same thing with sin. It's just like the Lord says, if you're not willing to forgive someone, how can I forgive you? Right? Okay? It's the same, it's kind of the same principle in a way. So the things that we sit here and judge God by, we do unto ourselves too. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. That's just like I told somebody, like, you'll be surprised, Trish.
Oh no! I thought you said when you put it in the microwave.
Who won't pray?
2 minutes.
Okay, think of it this way, Trish. You know, people sit here and say, well, you know, why does God let these school shootings happen? Well, first of all, why did you take God out of schools to begin with? Right?
Let me move over there and you move over here.
Man, all mankind doing really, truly is punishing themselves. It's just like, if you look at it, okay, God doesn't send people to hell. You send yourself there. Because in His book, His laws, you have to do a certain thing. And if you don't follow, if you doesn't choose to follow that law, it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter. That's what's set in stone for you to go by. Oh, we lost Trish.
Oh.
Oh.
Damn the devil.
Oh, hell. Something happened. See, the devil's messing with this live stream.
Yeah. But yeah, I do kind of agree with you, Wild Bill. Like, I mean, they took God out of schools and then all these school shootings started happening. Because if you really think about the timeline, kind of matches up. Because growing up, like, as a kid, I mean, even back when I was, like, in elementary school myself, I mean, back then we actually still kind of had God in schools. I mean, I don't know too much about like it was against the law to have the Bible in school and stuff like that. But I mean, we still did say under God whenever we did the Pledge of Allegiance back in the '90s and early
Yep.
2000s. But if you think about it, a lot of these school shootings started happening around like 2010 ish, 2011. Around then is when it started getting really bad. And then 2012 was when Sandy Hook happened. Not saying that those kids deserve to suffer and be killed and whatnot and everything that happened back then, but I mean, it does kind of make sense. There's been a lot of school shootings since at least 2010 ish. So, and that was around the time that I think, I mean, I had already been out of school for like almost 2 years at that point. So, and I assume that that's when they made it a law, like, oh, we can't say like a nation under God anymore. We're doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Like, I don't understand why they took that part out when it was. It always seemed normal to me. It always fit. Now the pledge kind of doesn't seem as meaningful as it used to be.
I know, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, but basically my long story short is, I kind of agree with you there, Wild Bill. Like, I mean, that does kind of make sense, but at the same time, I mean, it does. I mean, there is a lot of suffering on the planet, and there's a lot of school shootings and stuff that I don't understand why there's so much of. But I mean,
Come on.
oh yeah, welcome back, Trish.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, where were we?
I don't remember.
I can't remember exactly the last thing that Wild Bill said, but I remember he was, I mean, still talking about like
Guns.
yeah, guns
Well,
or something
not guns
like.
specifically, but just as an example.
Yeah. Why there's so many like school shootings and stuff when they took
Yeah.
God out of schools so many years ago. So I was basically just telling Wild Bill that, in a way, kind of makes sense a little bit because I remember when they took God out of schools and you wouldn't like they took away the whole line in the pledge of like a nation under God. They took that out, and then all of a sudden, like all these school shootings started happening around like 2010 ish. But I don't remember so many school shootings back when I was a kid. I know there was still some still did happen. Everything like Columbine back in like 1999, but I mean, it wasn't nearly as bad as it was because it became like a kind of a regular occurrence back in like the 2010s, and then it just like escalated, and that's one reason why there's been so many like tribute concerts and like songs about school shootings and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, so basically, long story short, I kind of agree with Wild Bill on what he was saying there about God is kind of like punishing mankind for taking him out of schools and stuff. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes sense.
But not really.
Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know if that's the exact term you would use as punishing, but it does feel like punishment in a way.
It's not punishment. What I'm saying is this.
Yeah.
If you think about something, right? You think about something. And Trish is right. Trish, and I understand what Trish said when that person said, well, there'll always be suffering. You want to know why there'll always be suffering? Think about this, right?
Hang on, Bill. You want that one?
Sickness. A lot of the things that happen to us, ourselves, we bring upon ourselves. Okay? All right. For instance, we're in there. All right. Whether you agree that mankind after Adam and Eve should die or whatever, that's your belief, and you can believe how you want to. But that's how God put it, and that's the way it is. Okay. But just because he made death for everyone, that doesn't mean that you should get yourself there as quick as you fucking can. Or that you should take your own life. or anything like that, right? Okay. What I'm trying to say is this. Like you take, for instance, now cancer. Yes. Do I believe, like, I'll give you an example. Okay. Cancer. Cancer is a sickness. It's not a cure. Okay. All right. But a lot of the cancers that happen come from the way we live. It's the pollution of the earth. It's all these chemicals we put in food to preserve them. It's all these products that we use and stuff that we know that are bad, but yet we do it anyway because that's how we become to live. Okay, that's how we have made ourselves. We have, I guess, comforted ourselves in doing these things. Okay, so therefore, that's just like, no offense, Trish, don't take this the wrong way. Okay, so tomorrow, if you, because of smoking, you die of lung cancer, right? Mm-hmm. It was your choice to smoke. Am I not right? Okay, so therefore, your punishment and your suffering was brought on by if your suffering is from cancer, okay, your suffering is from cancer that you brought on by yourself. You can't blame that on anyone else.
No.
Okay. All right. So I believe that it's not God that's letting people suffer. It's mankind doing it to themselves, and he's gonna see it like he's like, okay. He's like this. Look at this dumbass. Right?
Hey, look at this.
Go right on there. That's just like, I'm going to use an example I've used in a lot of my streams. All right, you know why God's not a redneck? It's because there's hold my beer moments, okay? Check this out. Now, in the movie Titanic, right? Remember when that guy said, this ship's unsinkable. Not even God can sink this ship, okay? Mm-hmm. Right? Now, imagine if that was, now I don't know if it's true, but let's say the person on the Titanic actually said that in real life. He's sitting here like, he says, I can't sink that boat. And here's the angel standing beside him going, oh God. And she say what I think he said. She goes, yeah, he said it. He's saying I can't sink that boat. She goes, yeah, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because mankind's stupidity. You see what
I
saying?
don't know.
You wouldn't have been going so fast because you had to prove something to somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe your boat was. But see, that's what I'm trying to say, Trish. Now, there's a lot of things in my mind I will never know, I will never understand. But I do believe in the faith that there is an ultimate goodness out there, okay, that's going to over triumph everything. But when you were saying, okay, that like sin wasn't brought into the world till after Adam and Eve ate from the apple and they didn't know right from wrong. The only reason I disagree with you on that is because God told him not to do that. Okay, so therefore, not doing if you do something that's okay. My whole thing is you don't know right. Like when you're a child, okay, you got to think about something. Adam and Eve was brought into this world. Now, I'm not saying they were gave full knowledge of everything. You got to think about it. They were the first humans on Earth that ever came from. They were adults when they were made. So anything after that was a child, okay? So that's why I think you have to grow as a child to learn, okay? Well, my whole thing is this. When you're a child and you're standing there and you see that flame and your parents said, don't touch that, you're going to get burned. You don't know that. They're just telling you that. I got to find out for myself. That's free will. So if I tell you not to do something, whether you know it's right or wrong or not, if I'm telling you not to do it, there's obviously a reason I'm telling you not to. But because I'm curious, I got to find out for myself. And what's my punishment? Ow, I get burnt. Okay?
So that's what I'm saying.
But see, when they ate from that tree and God punished them, right? He knew from that moment on that the creation that he made, that every man and woman and child from that moment on were going to do the exact same things that they done. So therefore, like in the Bible it says, the wages of sin is death. So, and even if God said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wipe your slate clean because you did not know. Okay, I'm going to give you free pass on that one. Okay, but anything after this, you're on your own. Okay. If you still knew it was wrong to do it, and you know yourself, that's just like us. If we know it's wrong to do it and we do it anyway, who you gonna blame? Right?
Most of the time,
So
the person that does it.
that's right. Okay. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is this: God didn't make man perfect for that reason. Well, not that reason, but what I'm saying is, if they would have never been tempted, which is a part of free will, okay. If the devil would have just left well enough alone and be like, okay, I learned my lesson, you can't fuck with the big man, right? Then think about this. They would still be alive today. They would be immortal just like him. Because I do believe that before they ate of that apple, they were going to live forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I have always believed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, though, like, and you think about something. From the moment you come out of your mother's womb, okay, you're born in this earth. You're born. Your time then. You're born to die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your whole thing. Your whole ending is you're gonna die regardless of whether you like it or not. Okay. That is just thing. That is a punishment and kind of a law. I don't look at it as a punishment. I look at it as a law for mankind, because mankind did something stupid. Mm-hmm. Whether it's just like if I went out here and did something tomorrow, and everybody else in the county get punished for it because I did something stupid, they're not going to be mad at they're not going to be mad at you. They're not going to be mad at his neighbor for doing it. They're going to be mad at me. Okay. So if you really think about it, don't be mad at God, be mad at Adam and Eve. They were the stupid ones that done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he hadn't put that tree there to start with, it wouldn't have happened.
Okay. Think about this, though. Just because there's a hole in the road doesn't mean you got to run over it. Am I not right, though?
No, you're right, but you can't. I mean, just by putting it there, he allowed that situation to happen, in my opinion. But I mean, he's God. He's all-knowing. He's all-knowing.
Yeah.
He knew that was going to happen. He knew they were going to do that.
Actually, that's where my mind was going, Trish, with this whole thing.
So
while Bill was talking about
what is the point if you already know they're going to fuck up and I'm going to send them to hell? What is the point?
Yeah, I mean, like,
okay.
I mean,
think about this. Think about this, though, Trish. Okay. He put that there as a temptation for them, right? Okay. Do not eat of this tree. Now imagine all this time, let's say thousands and thousands of years it went on. Adam and Eve was like, God told us not to eat of this tree, even though it's our choice. We choose not to. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to partake in it. And Yeah, he knew that he put temptation to there to see if they would actually be willing not to do what he told them not to. Because that's what free will is all about. It's having a choice.
So do you think at that moment
That's just
God
like going to a party just because alcohol is there and someone put it there doesn't mean you got to drink it. That's like inviting an alcoholic to a or somebody who's recovering alcoholic that's been in AA or something. It's come out now and you invite him to an all-night drinking party. Okay? Now, yeah, that might be an asshole move of you, right? Okay? But that still doesn't mean just because it's there that you got to do it.
Yeah.
That's free will. And maybe God knew, okay, yeah, I'm going to tempt them to see just how much they will obey me. That's just like your parents. If your parents tell you to do something and they're like, well, you know what? I'm going to see if my son listens to me or not. I'm going to, if I go out here and I tell him, don't go do this and don't go do that, but I'm going to put it out here to see if he actually goes and does it or not. Okay? Well, guess what? It might be there, but it's still his choice not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like anything else. No offense, but that's just like if a person goes out here and have sex tomorrow and they catch some sexually transmitted disease, that was their choice. Hold on for a second. Hello? Hey. Yeah, I'll bring it. I got that other one in here somewhere. I might bring both of them. Oh no, the other one still got food in it. So but I'll bring the other one when I come. All right then. Yep. All right, bye. So it's all about choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like in a way, Trish, like when someone says, well, what would life be like if we were perfect? It would be the same thing over and over and over again every day. I think that would get stale, even though we probably wouldn't know what stale was because we didn't know of the ladder. But then again, like I said, in all, it's choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just like Jesus in a way. Jesus knew when Jesus, from the moment he was born to the moment he died on his cross, he knew what his purpose was on this earth. And through all that, he still chose to die for your sins because he knew that was your ticket to spending the rest of your soul eternity with them, if you choose that. But you still have to make that choice. So it all still comes down to choice. You know, it's like I just believe this, and this is my core belief. God created everything for a reason, even temptation, because if you that's just like going out and getting married, okay? You're a man and a woman, okay? Sex outside of marriage or sex with someone else during marriage is considered a sin, okay? Now, you say you love someone. You say you're devoted and you're loving them. Say, but if you happen to walk into a room with 20 naked chicks, okay? Now your choice is to like, okay, I love my wife. I would never do anything that would break her trust of mine, I'm going to turn around and walk away. But how many guys would actually say they do that, right? So it's like the whole part that gets to me is like there's no greater love than for Jesus to do what he did for us, okay? But there's no other greater love for mankind than to love someone the same way he loves you, okay? I know it's hard to love your neighbor the way you love yourself. Hell, some people don't even love themselves, so that way they damn sure don't love their neighbor. You know what I'm saying? But that's just like when a man and a woman become married, they actually kind of become one in a way. Like they're supposed to be like their love and their bond with each other is supposed to be inseparable. And when that bond is broken, then everything else is it's just like that. So it's like even in everything we do, there will always be a choice, and it's just decides what choice you want to make. But here's the thing: we can't blame someone else for the choice the choice being there. It's just a choice that we have to make. So if I decide my whole life, and see, I get the whole part, and one of the parts I do get about is like it doesn't matter whether you live a good life or you live a bad life. If you don't take salvation, you're still condemned to a hell. Okay. Now someone says, well, what kind of God? Well, and then again, it's choice. He's not making you take it. That would be like somebody making you take something that you don't want. There's some people out here that would maybe don't want to go to heaven. Could you imagine? Could you imagine someone? I mean, I don't know why I would want to go to hell, but let's just say there's some people out here who might want to go there, see what it's like. What if God made everybody go to heaven? Then Then that takes the free will out of it. That's the whole thing about it. So it doesn't matter. You can do good deeds, and I believe you should do good deeds. But in the end, good deeds that would be like having if someone say you could buy your ticket into heaven. Well, what if only rich people could? Then why is that fair? There you go. So it's another one of those things. Everything's not going to be fair. I get it, but that's the law that we have to live by, and whether we choose to live that way or not, that's on us.
I still think that's
and I don't
cool.
and I don't.
Two options.
Maybe.
Worship me and only me, or burn in hell for eternity. There is no middle ground.
Here's the whole thing. But here's the thing. Think about this, right? If the devil can tempt Adam and Eve to eat an apple, right? When God told them not to, or not, well, an apple. I don't know what fruit it was, okay?
Well,
he told them not to eat of that tree. Okay, yes, the fruit, okay? Most people see it as an apple. I don't know why, but okay. All right. So here's the funny thing. If the devil can tempt you to do that, he could tempt you to believe in any of the other thing else in the world. Where do you think all these other gods come from? Jesus is not going to be like, okay, I want you to worship me, but you know what? I'm going to throw Odin out here, and I'm going to throw Thor out here, and I'm going to throw Buddha out here, and all that stuff. No, God wants you to worship him because he is your creator. He is the ultimate. So the devil's like, you know what? I'm going to make these people believe in this thing over here because you know what? I don't want them believing in him because I get a satisfaction out of it. Because because the devil looks at it like this right here. Every soul that he can have come to hell, that's his victory over Jesus. He's not going to win the war. He may win a bunch of battles, but he's not going to win the war. Okay? So the funny thing about it is that's why God, like in the 10 Commandments, the first commandment out of the 10 is thou shalt have no other God but me. Okay? Where do you think all these other gods come from? It was the devil's workings of making people believe in something that, well, I just don't want you to believe in this over here. You know? That's the whole thing about it. That's why yes, it may be I don't know that I consider it cruel, okay? I just consider it is if that would be like your mother and father brought you into the world, right? Okay? And they gave you life and all that. They were good to you. They gave you everything you want in life. But you chose to love someone else other than them. Don't you think that's a little cruel?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Like so no, but what I'm saying, they never did anything wrong. Like they gave you a good life. You know, they did the best they could for you and everything. Maybe everything wasn't perfect all the time, but they were loving, great parents who loved their kids, would have did anything for them. But you chose to love someone else, other than them. Don't you think that's a little cruel? There you go. So if he's your creator and he asks you to love him, I think it's a little cruel to love someone else but him. Or to sit here and think, well, I'm gonna believe this statue over here and it's gonna give me everything that I ever want. But here's the person over here who created us to begin with. So, I mean, you got to kind of look at it both ways. It's hard to look at it just one way, because if you think about something, a lot of
I always looked at it from that one perspective, without question and without doubt, for almost 52 years. And then because of that one passing comment, my mind started to open and questions started to happen. And the more questions I had, the more questions it caused. And the people that are around me, I can't talk to them like I'm talking to you, because it scares the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, the woman that said that doesn't know that she's the one that caused my doubt. Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I did say to her later on, she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I've lost my faith." Honest to God, the conversation went like this. "What's wrong?" "Nothing." "No, seriously, what's wrong? I can tell something's bothering you." And I said, "Well, I've lost my faith." "No, you ain't." "No, really, I lost my faith." "No, you didn't." "No, seriously, I really did. I lost my faith." "No, you didn't. That's just what the devil wants you to think." Oh my God!
What?
No, I know.
Can you just imagine Wild Bill was saying that to you right now? Well, goes like, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't." No.
Honest to God, the only person I have been able to talk to about this is my son, and that's, because he has a more open mind and he has different beliefs than what I was raised with, because I raised him with more of an open mind. I let him find his way. I taught him what I knew. I didn't cram it down his throat. And I allowed him the freedom to look and search and hunt and ask questions about other religions and other gods. And I didn't force my beliefs on him. So he's more open-minded. And he's been the only person I could talk to about this, because this conversation right here that we're having, this has not been a possibility other than with my son. Because people freak out.
But I'll be honest, I know where you're coming from, Tristan, because I met people like that. I mean,
Okay, have a good night, country.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good night, country fan. But yeah, like not for me personally, but like I've seen. I mean, I've had conversations with people telling them about how like my sister lost her faith in God or something, and this person also knew my sister and knew that I had a Christian background or raised Christian, and she was like, no, she didn't. Like that's what the devil is wanting on the thing. The devil is putting those thoughts in our head to be against him. But you personally, once you believe in God, you'll always believe. Like that's what some people will say. You can never lose your faith once you gain it for some reason. Which I mean, the thing is, you can only lose something
Beg to differ.
that you've gained. Yeah, you can't never. It's like it's like. I mean, like even I've questioned my faith a few times throughout my life and everything, but the thing is, like, some people say that once you accept Jesus as your Savior, as your Lord and Savior, then you basically should be saved for the rest of your life or something. I mean, even though, like, but even I've actually done that back. I mean, I've actually accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior in church back when I was like, I'd say probably 19, and even I've questioned my faith off and on through the years. I mean, since then. So I was like, I don't know where people are getting this idea that you can never lose your faith or you can never lose something once you have it. Like it's supposed to be with you forever and everything. But I don't know.
I don't. I definitely don't agree with that comment.
Yeah.
I just there's not a lot of people around here that you can talk to, and this wasn't even my main reason for not discussing religion. I don't normally discuss religion because people get all head up about it and want to argue, and their God's right and your God's wrong, and whatever. So I just tried to never discuss religion.
Yeah.
But this has been in my mind for the past 2 or 3 months. And like I said, the only person I could talk to about it was my son, because he's the only open-minded person that I know that lives, around me. Yeah. And we've had some damn good conversations.
Yeah. That's actually one thing I always knew about you, Trish, because once you started streaming back like 2018 and then throughout 2019 and 2020, like you always would make a point to say that there's only like 2 subjects you would never talk about in your streams, which was politics and religion.
Yeah.
But because they always get people heated.
Yeah. This conversation would, oh my God, I didn't think a conversation like this would ever happen. I was scared to do this.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh my God, I know 99% of my fans are Christian faith based. And if I say what I feel, what I think right now, they're run like hell the other way and never come back. But just to be able to sit here and talk to you guys is the most amazing thing to me. And you have answers. You don't just go, oh, well, God has a plan. Oh, it's all in God's plan. You don't have a cop-out answer. You actually sit here and discuss it with me.
Yeah, I don't understand why people only give like one blank. It's almost like it's almost like some people only have one-track minds or something, or one-track answers or whatever. Mm-hmm. They always say the one thing is like they're programmed like a robot or something. Like don't you have any more comprehensive thoughts or something like?
I'm going to say I got a few statements to make. One, Sammy Kershaw sung one of the most truest songs has ever hit this world. Politics, Religion, and Hurt. Okay.
Oh, freaking love that song.
There's no more true song than that song, and people wonder why people listen to country music. Well, there you go. Okay. Mm-hmm. Politics, Religion, and Hurt.
There you go.
Right. Okay.
That's actually my favorite song that man ever sung. Right there. That's it.
I'm going to say. And I'm not saying this like to gloat or to make myself. I don't think you're going to meet anybody that probably has more of this universal view of the world than I do. I'm telling you, I see things from every side of every you could put a three in a 360, and I'm gonna see it from every angle. Okay, from every part of that whole circle, because you got to think about something like with religion. Like somebody said, so I heard somebody say one time, well, when I accepted salvation, I thought, everything was supposed to be great and all this stuff. I said, let me tell you something. I said, salvation, okay, was to be easy, everybody would do it. Okay, think about this. If you were a football team, right, and every team you play just lay down and let you run to the end zone every play you did, what are you going to get out of it? Nothing. Yes,
You're
you
gonna be the
may
most awesome
win,
player ever.
Yeah, baby.
but what have you really learned from? Nothing. Okay, what have you achieved? Nothing. Other than, okay, everything's supposed to be easy. Okay, there's no more actually, and this is just my example. Okay, I actually believe that the road to and with salvation is a harder road than living in sin. Because here's my thing like this. You'll have people say, well, why am I over here believing in the Lord, going to, and I still feel that I'm struggling, I'm still feeling this and over this, and things are happening to me and everything, okay? But here's a guy over here that doesn't believe in God, got everything he wants, okay? That's a great question to ask, and that's a fair point. You ever think about this? Some people in this world, this is the only paradise they're ever going to know. Because they'll get all their riches, they'll get all their glory, and they'll get everything where it really doesn't matter. Because once you choose salvation and you believe God and you live a righteous life, or you try to live as sin-free as you can, but everybody's going to make mistakes, even when you're born again. Everybody's going to sin. Okay?
Even Jesus split the table.
Yeah, okay. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So here, and even God, even Jesus asked the Lord to forgive him of his sins, right? Okay, and he was the perfect man, right? But in his eyes, he still thought that he was letting his father down, right? Okay, here is the thing, right? These people that get all this stuff now, like the old saying, you can't take it with you when you go. It doesn't matter here. What matters is beyond. And that's what people don't understand. Yes, there's going to be suffering in this world. Okay? There's going to be all these things. And is it fair that that everybody should have to be punished for something that two people did thousands of years ago? Maybe not. That's not my choice. Okay? I didn't set that rule in place. I just have to go by what is set out for me, that I have a life. I know I'm going to die, so I might as well make the best out of it that I can. Okay? My thing is this. God gave you a soul because he knew that this body is a shell. It's just dirt. That's all it is. And when you die, you're going to return to the earth. Okay, that's what burial was all about. It's returning your shell to the earth. Okay, what is important is your soul, that's eternal, and that's something that, you think about this, right? Person can take your arm off. They can cut your arm off and take it somewhere. They can take your leg off. They can do anything with your body they want to. They can't do anything with your soul. Only God has control over that. Okay? So the whole part about it is what we do here, right? Yeah, sure. What we do here sets us up for eternity. To what matters. Okay? Now, with salvation, okay, God's going to provide for you, whether you believe it or not. Okay. He even does things for people that don't even believe in him. He still does for them because he loves them, even though they don't love him back. Okay, that's just like your parents. They can love you, and you can hate their guts, but because they brought you into this world, they're still going to love you. Okay, right? And that's the whole thing about it. Do you? And some people say, well, I don't understand how a loving God would send a person to hell. God don't send you to hell. You send yourself there by choices that you make. Okay? If that's just like I'm saying, if I understand tomorrow, like, why am I in the hospital? Because I got burnt because I started a fire. If I wouldn't have been playing with matches, I probably wouldn't have got burnt. So therefore, now I'm paying a consequence for it. Okay? It's all, you have to look at everything as a worldly human thing. God is so complex, your brain just hurts thinking about it. Okay?
Yeah.
And the whole thing is, right? Salvation wasn't meant to be easy. Think about something. Look at this. Jesus didn't have to be baptized. He chose that for himself. Right? He was already the divine. He was already perfect. But he chose to get baptized. Want to know why? Because he was a human just like everybody else. And for him to be an example and for him to lead, he had to sit there and be like, okay, well, why am I going to tell all these people to do this if I'm not going to do the same thing they're doing? So if I tell you to be righteous and love your neighbor and do all these things that I tell you to do, that my Father has set down for me to tell you to do, if I'm not going to do it, why are you going to believe me and want to do it yourself? That's the whole thing. That's why Jesus chose to be baptized. Because he's like, okay, sure, I don't have to get baptized, but I'm doing it anyway. That's just like people believe that drinking alcohol is a sin. Okay? Here's the part that they don't understand. Now, if I'm biblically correct, okay, somebody can correct me. They drunk wine at the Last Supper. Okay? And they drunk wine at the wedding of Cana. Jesus turned water into wine. If wine was a sin, then why would Jesus create it for you to have? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's the excess of anything that is a sin.
Yeah.
Okay? That's
Yeah,
just
I
like
definitely agree.
people, well, the money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. It's the
love
and
of
the
money.
want
Yeah.
is the root of all evil. Because God, why would God say, give me 10% of your earnings? If money was sin, Jesus wouldn't want to have anything to do with it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing that people don't understand. Their biggest misconceptions are things that they don't sit here and think about. You have to look at these things and you got to understand something. The Bible has been translated into I don't know how many different languages for thousands of years. Okay? How do we know that some of the stuff that was even in the Bible in our language is actually correct?
Yeah.
Okay? And the wording of things is actually correct. But I believe that God's going to give us credit for, okay, yeah, maybe this isn't translated right, but you get it enough to understand that, okay, you know, you commit this sin, this is what's going to happen to you. Okay? That is what the core belief that I have. Okay? And these people out here who want to sit here. Now, I can't sit here and say, like I always tell people, I can't say that I'm the perfect Christian. Because I can't tell you to go out here and do something that I wouldn't do myself. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, yes, I tell you, well, maybe you shouldn't go out here and have 10 or 15 beers. I've done it myself. And tell you what, I can't say that I wouldn't do it myself. Is it a sin? Do I know it's wrong? Sure, I do. Again, you go back to free will. Okay? That's the whole thing about it. Okay? My whole thing is this, right? Being an example for somebody is, I would rather know that I had someone out here who was not the perfect Christian, or not. Well, you're not going to have a perfect Christian, but what I'm trying to say is, you'll have a Christian out here who knows that they sin and admit that they sin and try to do right things, but still mess up. No, you know what? So look here, salvation ain't easy. Salvation ain't this, and it's not what people make it out to be. I would believe somebody more in that way than I would some hypocritical Sunday Christian out here going blah blah this and blah blah that, but you out here on Sunday having a threesome with your damn neighbor over here.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. I get. Look, I get where you're coming from, Trish. Because as a guy who sat on the front row of church and held the Bible for the preacher and stuff, have I had my doubts? Sure. Have I not sit here and wondered, like, why are you picking on me for? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Am I such a bad person? You know what I'm saying? Really? Am I that bad? Sure. Have a lot of things that I've done in my life, the results of things that I've done have been the choices I've made? Sure they have. But why am I going to blame somebody else for something that I've done? Knowing that I probably shouldn't have done it anyway. But there you go. I wish I had better answers for you, and I wish I could sit here and tell you on a grand scheme of things that you're wrong. Like, no, I'm not going to tell you. I don't, look, I have nothing against you believing the way you believe, because that's your choice, okay? And maybe you believe because you don't understand, or you don't, maybe it's, it's hard for you to grasp that. And I get it. I totally get it. So I'm not going to go run the other way. I'm going to have a civilized conversation with somebody. Because I've been there too. I know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't tell you what being the most righteous person is like. I'm never going to be there. I was just joking. My mom had this thing that my mama does a lot of like crafts and stuff, and she does like crocheting and knitting and stuff like that. And she had this round foam thing the other day, and I stuck it on my head. I said, Mama, so that's probably the closest I'm ever gonna get to a halo.
Oh my God.
And I said it jokingly, but truthfully, maybe I'm not as close as I'm ever gonna get to a halo. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I mean, Trish, I can't be. I mean, I'm not gonna go run the other way and get all pissed off for things that you say. You have a right to feel the way you do. And you know what? Here's the whole thing about it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. True Christian will listen to what you have to say. Because you want to know why? Because maybe you just don't understand because people have been explaining it to you wrong. But just to get mad because, I've lost my faith because of this or because of that or whatever, and you run all fire and like, I ain't going to have nothing to do with Trish because she believes. So, who cares? Right? That's the whole thing about it. I've had many talks like this with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I've got friends and I've known people who are true atheists. I don't mistreat them or whatever it is because they don't believe, that's their choice, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not, and I tell people every day, I don't throw religion on people.
Yeah.
If you ask, now I always tell people, and just like with anything else in this world, you ask me a question, be prepared for the answer that you're going to get. Because if you don't want to know the truth or you don't want my honest opinion, don't ask.
Yeah.
See, I have to say this, guys. I know Robert's here, and obviously you, Alvin, and you, Wild Bill, and thank you. And I know Elsa would still be here if she was awake. Sorry you missed it, Elsa. I have to thank you for sticking with me and not running. And Country Fan, thank you, Country Fan. Because I have dealt with people that run the other way my whole life. And it terrifies me to want to talk about stuff like this. And the fact that you guys sit here with me and you didn't run and you sit here and have a civilized conversation means more to me than you will ever know. I can't thank you enough for sticking with me.
Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'll be honest with you. Wild Bill's like the example of the Christians I wish I either had in my own family or that I have actually like met at a church or something. Because I'll be honest with you, I've been to church before, and there's just some Christians out there that just seem so close minded. Like, I mean, to put it lightly, because you can't really ask them questions or tell them things or be honest with your opinion. Like, say oh, sometimes I do question my faith, or I have lost my faith or something. Like, some Christians just don't want to hear it at all. Like, they don't believe that. Like, I mean, otherwise they're like, oh, I'm clean. Get the devil away from me, type shit.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not even a bad person. That's just how I feel. Like, people are allowed to feel the way that they feel, and so that's one reason why I even stopped. Believe it or not, because growing up, I mean, I grew up in a Christian household, and I mean, there was times I would talk about religion and my own beliefs in God and stuff like that, like growing up. But believe it or not, it's because of people like the closed-minded Christians out there that I met that actually made me want to stop talking about religion altogether. So I totally understand where you're coming from. Trish, that's the reason why. I mean, and that's what is why I think I even asked Wild Bill at one point during one of his streams if he could he ever see himself being friends with an atheist or something, because I can be friends with anybody no matter how what their beliefs are or what their religion is, because I mean, I don't base my friendship or my opinion on someone just because in what they believe. Because some people, believe it or not, I have actually met full blown atheists before who don't believe in an afterlife and actually believe things like, oh, when we die, we'll basically just put in the ground. That's the end of our existence. Like, there's some people who are that morbid. Like, that's the end of our existence is once we die. Like, that's all. Or you only live once, pretty much. They don't believe in we get to go off to this other great place or a place better than this. So,
I have talked to people like that. I've known people like that.
Yeah.
And even though I have my doubts, which I've talked to you guys about today, I know there has to be something after this life.
Yeah.
I may not know what it is, but I know there's something because I've seen too much and I felt too much to not believe there is something after this life.
Yeah. That's what I believe.
Yeah. If there wasn't, I wouldn't have seen some of the things I've seen. I wouldn't have felt or heard some of the things I've felt and heard. So there is something there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Trish. There's some things that have happened to me that I can't explain. Why? The only other explanation is something spiritual, be something out there, because why would this happen? Like, why did I feel after my mom passed? There was a couple instances that kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies a little bit because it made me feel like my mom was watching over me. Like, my mom was still there. Her presence was still around me. And yet, if there's no afterlife, she wouldn't be here. My mom wouldn't even exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in another realm. So she obviously went somewhere when she passed away.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where, but she's still somehow watching over me. I mean, I still believe that to this day. So, yeah. So I'm glad that you kind of have had experiences like that too, Trish, or that you've seen things to believe enough that there is an afterlife or something. Because
Yes.
I mean, there's some people that once they stop believing in God, or if they never believed in God at all, they don't believe in any like the afterlife or heaven. Like, I mean, because we always get told what heaven looks like, but I mean, the truth is we may not know what heaven actually looks like or feels like until we go there someday, because the heaven that we all learn about may be completely different from what we visualize in our minds and what's put out there on the screen in movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this will help out a little bit, okay? Those Christians that will run from you, Trish, are those holier than thou Christians. That these Christians think that they're even more holier than thou than Jesus, okay? And the reason I say,
oh my God,
look at the Pharisees.
Yeah.
Hold on for a second.
Oh shit. Okay. Here we go.
Hello. All right, I'll be there in a little bit. Okay. All right, bye.
Ooh, supper
Okay.
must be ready.
So
Is supper
I
time
have-
all good?
I don't ask a lot of people, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not, and I have a kind of, I want to ask you to do something, and I want you to go into it with an open mind, okay? And it may not change your thought and your perspective and everything, and that's cool, because for everybody it's still not going to, okay? But I have learned one thing about watching The Chosen, okay, is that you'll see just how much Christian people, even in God's time, thought that they were more holier than thou than he was. And the things that they were doing, thinking they were doing them in the name of Jesus, they really wasn't. And you're never going to think, and so my request for you is this. Download The Chosen. If you have a Roku or a Fire Stick or anything like that, or some kind of like that, download The Chosen app and watch The Chosen. If you don't do nothing, watch the first season. I promise you, you're never going to see a more human tape of Jesus than any other Christian media outlet out there. Okay, and you're going to see just how much I believe that the true Jesus that's being portrayed through The Chosen is how Jesus really was. And just how holier than thou that these people acted around him. And thinking that, oh, you're not the Messiah because you're overturning the apple cart. Well, of course I'm overturning the apple cart because I'm the Messiah. I can do what I want to. And just because, you know, you believe this, how do you know that it's exactly the way? Like, there's a line in The Chosen in season 3, right? When one of the Pharisees told Jesus this now, he says, if you don't quit doing the things that you're doing, we're going to invoke the law of Moses on you, right? Okay. Who the hell gave them the law of Moses anyway? God did. So you're invoking the law of Moses on the man who knows the law, who gives you the law, and you don't think he don't know what the law is? I'm like, I see a Lucifer moment there almost. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Mhm.
okay. So think about something. Those people that crucified Jesus, or that voted to have Jesus crucified, are those same type of people that would run from you today during this conversation, because they're the ones that think they're holier than thou, and they don't want to answer your questions because you want to know what? You're hitting a nerve with them. They know that they're wrong, but they can't admit that they're wrong, because if I admit that I'm wrong, then I don't have this whole holy cloak around me.
Mm.
It is funny when I sit here and I see some of these Christians, and I'm thinking, I'm like, you're the reason why people question religion now. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting
Mhm.
here and I'm like, look at me. I'm not. You know, I told somebody one day. I said, if Jesus was to come back today and ask me to be a disciple, I would think I would be the most unworthiest person on the planet. But I can understand why he chose me to. Because I bring something to the table that maybe some people don't. My understanding and the way I see things and how I view things or whatever is like, I always tell people, you know, you'll have these people out here, and this is what's so funny. They'll judge you by the color of your skin, okay? Right? But how can you judge a man by the color of his skin or whatever he does when you're supposed to be a Christian? That's something totally against Christianity. It's that has no bearing on thing, because think about this. God didn't make one race of people. He made all races of people. Okay? He made them that way for a reason. Okay? God didn't choose to love white people more than he did black people. God didn't choose to love white people more. I don't know where this whole thing that white people think they're the superior race comes from. I never got that. Because you want to know why I think that? It's because the biggest misconceptions of Jesus out there. Every picture you see of Jesus today, he's a white man. He's got either long hair with a beard or without a beard. You think about something, okay? Most people from the region of where Jesus is from are darker color than we are, okay? You really think Jesus was a white man? You really think that Jesus is actually what we consider today a white person? Do people really believe? Do they really think? I'm not saying that he wasn't, okay? Maybe he was, but I just don't see. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, right? There's somewhere some big misconception of where people think that the white race is a superior race, and I think it comes from all these misrepresentations of what Jesus looked like.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's some white
No
people,
offense.
yeah, that believe they're holier than thou and everything.
No,
But one thing I've noticed is a lot of other nationalities. I feel like one of the reasons they're racist against white people is because they think that as a whole, that's all we are, is holier than thou Christians, or holier than thou people that think that we're superior in every way. So it gives them a reason to hate us for some reason. When, I mean, I wasn't raised growing up that, oh, white people are the superior race or anything. Like, I mean, because I watched all kinds. I'll be honest with you, I watched all kinds of television growing up. Believe it or not, one of my mom's favorite channels was actually the BET channel, was black entertainment. I mean, because she loved to watch a lot of like Tyler Perry movies and stuff like that. So, I mean, so I wasn't. So believe it or not, I was the farthest thing from being raised as being racist or something. But even though my father actually was kind of racist to an extent, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, I don't understand this whole concept of white people are superior or the superior race.
I don't think there is a superior race.
Yeah,
I think we're all equal.
There's not. There's not.
yeah. That's how I always felt too. So,
But take this for a grain of salt, okay? Most people take Leonardo da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper to what? That's what the Last Supper looked like. Well, guess what? Leonardo da Vinci wasn't there. So
That's a
his
good point.
interpretation of what the Last Supper looks like may not even be what it looked like. How do we know? You got a man sitting at a rectangular table. Everybody sitting on one side, right, beside each other. How do you know he wasn't sitting at a round table?
oh yeah, that's one thing I've always noticed.
How do you know they were sitting at a table at all?
Yeah, that's actually a good point, Wild Beer, because I actually grew up with a painting on the wall of what they considered what the Last Supper looked like, and I was wondering, do we even know if this
Why
is
has that never dawned on me?
like an exact representation?
Because here's the thing, right? That is what people want to have. That's the whole thing. See, here's the funny thing. Even Jesus takes Christianity and takes Christians to influence the minds of other Christians. Think about this, okay? So if I sit here and I have this whole thing where that's the Last Supper, and I believe that's how it looked, okay? And Jesus probably like, you're so gullible, dude. You're just so gullible. He's probably laughing like, you really think that's what it looked like? You have no idea, right? And that's what gets me, right?
Like, you never know, the Last Supper could like this.
See, God and Jesus has you believe it or not.
Yeah.
You think about something. Here's what people don't understand. Right? Jesus laughed. Jesus cried. Jesus wept. When Lazarus died, Jesus cried. You can't get no more human than that. Okay? So my whole thing is like I'm saying, right? So all these interpretations that we take of what Jesus is, of what he looks like, or whatever. You know, it was funny. I watched this movie here a little while back called Heaven is Real, right? And at the beginning of the movie, it comes on about this girl who had the same kind of a similar thing happen to her to that boy that the movie was about. And she was painting her painting of what Jesus looked like, okay? And Elsa asked me one day, she said, at the end of the movie, she said, I wonder if that's what Jesus really looks like. I said, Elsa, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Jesus looks the same to anybody. I think how Jesus looks to you may not be how he looks to Trish or Alvin or anybody else. Think about it. Like, I'll tell you something, okay? Take it like this. Who I might think is beautiful, sexy, whatever. Somebody be like, man, you like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so my thing, our interpretation of what we like and how we see and perceive people, right, is how do we know that Jesus looks the same to everybody?
Oh, that is a good point.
Maybe he doesn't.
Oh yeah, I was wondering.
And see, the only people that really knew were those people that saw him when he was alive. My whole thing is, so when God comes to you in a vision or a prayer, how do you know he looks the same to me as he does or Alvin or Robert or Country Fan? We don't know that.
Yeah, like, because
if I was to my interpretation of what Jesus looks like, Hell, he might be sitting on the throne wearing a Dale Earnhardt T-shirt.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's probably not. He's probably like, okay, that's stretching a little bit, but all right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's just
Okay, that's my interpretation. My problem is, am I wrong? I don't know. I'm never going to know until I see the man face to face. And still to this day, when I see him face to face, how do I still know he looks the same to Trish? See, that's the whole thing that people don't understand. So you got to take all this misconception that people, you know, oh, the Hollywood Jesus or the movie Jesus or the paintings of Jesus and all. How do we even know that any of that's even correct? Think about it. They didn't have cameras back then. Sure, you had artists, and I'm pretty sure that there's probably somewhere out there a pretty almost accurate portrait of Jesus somewhere. I don't doubt that there's not. Okay.
Yeah, there's probably something accurate out there, but we just don't know which one is the accurate portrait.
Because, like I say, if you go into most churches that have those stained glass windows and stuff, you usually see Jesus standing there, and he's in like a robe. He's like got long hair. He's either with a beard or without a beard. Most of the time, he's got like a lamb beside him or something like that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is, how do we even know it's even accurate?
No.
That could be the devil's perception of what you think the devil looks like because he puts that in your mind.
Yeah, very true. But I kind of like your idea, though. I kind of like your idea, Wild Bill. Like,
So, because let me put it to you like this right here. I got my ex-girlfriend's sister bought me a picture of all the DC characters, the Justice League, sitting at the table like the Last Supper, right? And she didn't think that, she thought I'd be offended by it, right? Because I'm my religious background and everything. And she was kind of hesitant in giving it to me, right? And I said, how do we know this is what the Last Supper looked like? We don't know that.
Ooh,
That was
would be awesome.
painted by Leonardo
yeah, that would be awesome.
centuries later. So I mean, the whole thing is right. How accurate is it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's probably some accuracy. There's some people that say that, because I think there's some paintings of the Last Supper that has the Holy Grail in it. And then there's some people, or like a cup that Jesus, if I'm not mistaken in the Bible, it never said that Jesus drank from a cup. Was there a cup at the Last Supper? I do believe that, because he was like, take this and drink of this cup, for this is my blood that you partake. And when he broke bread, this is my body. Okay? But the whole thing about it is, right? So do I believe it? Yes. But who says it was a cup? It could have been a bowl, because people drank from bowls back then too. So the whole conception of the Holy Grail is a cup. Really? Think about it. And it was beautiful, and it was made of gold and jewels. Really? God wasn't for that stuff. He drank from regular clay dishes like everybody else did. He wasn't holier than thou. Because, like I said, what is he going to get out of trying to make mankind understand if you're going to go out here and do totally opposite of what they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Jesus didn't have to be baptized. He did that on his own. So that's what I'm trying to say. So my whole interpretation of this, Trish, is yes, there's people out there that probably would have ran from you and probably would have scalded you and did all these things and would have said probably nasty stuff and stuff like that. That ain't me. And I don't think that's anybody in this group. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Even though the people that I don't know, that I'm not saying that everybody in this group would claim themselves to be a Christian or real, like, believer, like some people believe, yeah, I believe God exists, but you know, some of this other stuff or whatever, right? Okay. I've always felt that the core people in these, and that the people in this group have a total understanding of, we're just not going to sit here and scald somebody because you believe a certain way of something. Because how the hell do I know that I'm right? I could be totally damn wrong. But that's just how I take it, and I explain it to people the best way I can. You know, I heard somebody say to somebody, "You should be a preacher." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think so." You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
well,
Like, I
Bill.
just
Well,
because,
I have to
you know,
say you did a damn good job, and I can't thank you enough, all of you.
yeah.
Robert, you still with us, or have I scared you away?
Yeah, Robert.
No, it's just
Robert
it's
kind of has some of the same views I do.
there's just, aside from my son, there is nobody around here to talk to, and I wanted to talk to you guys because you guys have always been the non-judgmental kind, and I thought if any other people besides my son is going to let me talk about this and not judge me and not run from me, it's going to be these guys. You're welcome. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So, and well, Bill, you are really, really good at listening and then giving your opinion and not being judgmental about it and just being open and not saying, okay, you're wrong and this is why you're wrong. You don't do that, and you don't know how much I appreciate that, because I've dealt with that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I've not had people tell me, well, you're going to hell. I mean, on this specific subject, I've had people
Yeah.
tell me that before.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say it was
So,
the same thing with me.
but you
actually.
know, around here, I think some people get scared, like my neighbor. I think they're afraid to hear me out or discuss it any at all because they're so programmed to believe what they believe. They're terrified of it for fear of going to hell.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I've noticed about some Christians. Now, I'm not saying all Christians, but there are some Christians, and it's usually the holier than thou Christians that we were talking about, that they feel like they're, when you talk to them, have conversations with them, it feels like you're talking to like a programmed robot. Like they only have like a
Yeah.
program series of responses to give, but it's like, are they like? It's almost like they're non-human. It seems like they start to become or feel like they're non-human because it's like, am I really talking to a human being right now? Like, can't you think for yourself? But you're basically just telling me what I already have heard or already know. Like that's like, because they're basically just like pretty much just giving like Bible verses or something like
Mhm.
basically just like that. That's the way of basically saying that oh, you're wrong and this is why, and then they just read off like a Bible verse to you.
Yeah. And
Like
see,
that's
well, Bill
the
didn't do that. And he wasn't judgmental about it. He didn't say, well,
Yeah.
you're wrong and this is why. He said, well, this is what I believe, and see if this helps you.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. That's what Wild Bill could have actually easily done. You'd be like, well, Trish, you're wrong, and this is why. And then read
Uh-huh.
off
But he
Bible
didn't.
verses.
And he will admit, I don't know if I'm right or not, but this is what I
Yeah.
believe. This
Yeah.
is why I believe it. And
Yeah.
maybe that will help you. That's how he is.
Yeah.
Or this is the way I understand it. So you know what I'm saying? It's, you know,
Yeah.
and I wanted to say this, and I think one thing that'll help you out too, Trish. There's a scene in The Chosen, right? Everybody knows that Matthew was a tax collector, and he was hated by the Jews because he was a Jew and he collected taxes for the Romans against his own people, right?
Mhm.
So nobody liked Matthew. And when Jesus called Matthew to follow him in The Chosen, Peter looks at him and he says, Jesus, he says, do you understand what this guy's done? He says, everything. He says, well, you didn't understand it when I called you either. He said, yeah, but this is different, right? Jesus looked at Peter and says, get used to different. Right. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, He took one of the people that nobody liked. And God chose him because he knew that he could use it, because he was willing to sacrifice everything, and he dropped everything he had. He had money. He had a nice home. He had everything. He gave all that up to follow Jesus. Because he called Matthew because he knew Matthew was looking for something to believe in. And when Jesus called him, he knew that Matthew would drop everything he had to follow him. And that's why he called him. See, everybody that was ever a disciple was called for a reason. And you got to understand something. Here, Trish, I'm gonna throw a twist. I'm gonna throw a narrative to you that you probably never heard anybody say this to you. And when I'm done, I got to go eat supper. But
Okay.
Everybody blames Judas for being the villain in the story, right? Okay. Everybody likes going, okay, well, if Judas would have never sold Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver, and he'd have never been crucified and wouldn't have died on the cross. Check this out. Jesus was supposed to die anyway. That was his mission from beginning to end. From the moment he come out of Mary's womb to the time he hung on that cross, that was his destiny. Okay? Right? He knew that was his fate. Why do you think he chose Judas? Think about it. Somebody had to be the bad guy.
Well, wait, though.
And he,
Does that actually make him the bad guy, or is he the hero? Because if he had never betrayed him, he never would have died for people's sins.
well, not really, Trish, because he was destined to die anyway.
Well,
How
true,
he
yeah.
died, maybe. Okay, maybe how he died, maybe you could come and question. But his whole purpose was for him to die for the sins of mankind. Okay? So you can sit here and say Judas was the bad guy anyway. But hey, Peter denied him 3 times. And Peter was one of his most devout followers. He told Peter, see, you'll deny me 3 times before I die. And he did.
Wow.
So think about this, right? Everybody had a role in it, just not Judas. Every one of his disciples had some type of role in it, even Peter. So if you want to look at it, Peter was just as guilty as Judas. But Judas took all the blame for it. Maybe if Peter wouldn't have denied him 3 times, maybe somebody would have been like, okay, well, all right, I understand this one guy betraying him because he was a money person anyway, right? Okay, he was sort of kind of a, whatever. But here's your one of your most devout followers denying you 3 times. Well, maybe you're not who you say you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So here's the funny thing. So honestly, Trish, who's the more guilty? Is it Judas or is it Peter? Think about it. Because Peter was one of the first, other than Mary Magdalene, right? Because Mary, actually, a lot of people don't realize this. Mary was one of the first people he ever called to follow him. Okay? So besides Mary, Peter was one of the most loyal disciples he had. Okay? Think about it. So who betrayed him worse? Was it Judas or was it Peter? But the scapegoat will always be Judas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But see, it's easy to sell people out for money, but to have someone your whole church is built on, because you think about it, when Jesus died, he left his church to Peter. Like he said, go out and create my church. My church is going to be. He knew that Peter was scared, and you can't blame him. That was the human nature in him, You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, at that time, hell, I probably would have done the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That would have
I think
been
most
me.
of us would.
You know, but he knew that Peter was going to be his rock that he built his church on. Okay, but like I say, at that moment, in that moment of time, who was the more detriment to Jesus' dying? Was it Judas or was it Peter? We'll never know until we meet the Lord someday, and maybe we still may never know. And the whole thing about it is just because people want to look at Judas as the bad guy, that's not necessarily so. Because like I said, every disciple that Jesus chose, he chose them for a reason. So maybe in the end, it was Judas's
Destiny.
destiny to be the one that took the brunt for everybody. I mean, is that fair? No. But that's human nature. That's where it all comes from. We're going to blame somebody no matter what it is. And just somebody's going to get blamed more than others. So
Oh yeah.
look at it that way. See, most people don't see it that way though, Trish. You always have everybody being like, okay, oh, it's Judas. Judas is the bad guy. Really? Think about it. And if, like we all say, if Jesus is almighty and he's all knowing, he knows everything, and even before it happens, then he knew that Judas was betray him before he ever chose him. So does that really make him a bad guy? Maybe Jesus chose him because you're gonna be the reason I'm crucified and dying for mankind's sins. I'm gonna die. That's my destiny. But you're gonna put into place how it happens. Maybe people gotta look at it that way.
True.
It's all a complex thing, Trish. I'm telling you, a lot of it's hard
Oh,
to
yeah.
understand. But I just think that maybe for me, because I always tell people I think I'm one of a kind. I truly am, because I just see things way different from everybody else. I've always been this way, and I just, you have to take everybody's things and you have to look at it from like 9, 10, 20 different angles, because like I said, just because the Bible says Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus, you have to think about it. If he's all knowing and he knew everything, then he knew that Judas was going to betray him before he even picked him. That's why he picked him. So, and some people say, well, Judas hung himself. He went to hell. How do you know that? How do you know he ain't sitting beside the Father right now? You don't know that. Maybe his whole destiny in his life was to betray Jesus, and Jesus would die for your sins, or set up the way Jesus died for your sins. Think about it.
Well, that's true.
I gotta go eat, y'all. But
Okay.
if y'all are still here, get back. I'll join you.
Okay.
All righty.
See you later, Wild Billy Goat.
Take it easy. Darn computer wants to act stupid. My computer wants to be Judas tonight.
That was funny. But yeah. And then it was just the two of us, Trish. Happy about it?
Alrighty, there we are. Oh yeah. Hang on a second. My phone dinged and it's way on the other side of the room.
Oh, okay.
sat down too hard.
Damn. Welcome back, Trish. Welcome back, Trish.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, God, that looks good.
Okay, buddy.
I just never thought I would be having this serious of a conversation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't believe that this why. So has this conversation gone better than you, I guess, expected?
Yeah, it really has, because it's such a touchy subject.
Yeah, because to me it sounded like you were actually scared that you're probably going to lose like half of the group tonight or something.
Well, I was scared. I mean, I thought if
Yeah.
anybody, aside from my son, if anybody would be understanding about what I'm about to say, it would be these people.
Yeah.
But there was still that little bit of fear of, oh my God, I'm going to offend the hell out of them and they're just going to leave.
Which I totally understand, because you never know. I mean, because I would say at least, pretty much the majority of our group, it would be kind of Christian based, I would
Mhm.
assume, since we've all kind of shared our thoughts about God, and I'm pretty sure that most of us do believe in God and everything. It's just you don't know what kind of level certain people are in our group, like of Christianity, because I'll be honest with you, I would honestly say there are some Christians out there who actually do, I would say, give Christianity a bad name.
Yeah.
Like, and it's usually those holier than thou Christians, and that's why
Yes.
some people hate Christians. Like, I can understand why some people do like look down upon Christians, but and it doesn't really have anything to do with like them like completely not believing in God. Is probably because the Christians they met are so closed minded or so closed off or don't want to hear about anybody else's opinions, like if it's different than their own. Because
Mm-hmm.
like that's the point of having an opinion, that everybody's got one. Like everybody's opinion is different. Like you can't like if everybody always had the same opinion, or if everybody agreed with each other, like there would be no sense in having conversations or discussions with people, because it would be all the same.
Yeah.
I feel like life would be too easy then as well if we all just agreed with one another. So
Yeah.
and sometimes it's interesting to get why some people believe the way they do. So that's one thing I've kind of grown to respect, is other people's opinions, or accept. Like that not everybody's gonna agree with like everything that I do. So, but I'm glad that Wild Bill was even as understanding as he was, because I'll be honest with you, that was a thought in the back of my mind, like, oh my God. Like, even when you started talking about certain things that you were talking about, Trish, I was like, oh shit. Like, while Bill's about to bring out the island, so that's why I actually made that joke that while Bill was probably, when he asked to come on screen, that I thought he was going to have his Bible in his lap or on his desk, just ready to lecture you, pretty much, kind of, or something with Bible verses.
I knew if anybody wanted to come on screen, I was going to wait until I was finished talking before I let anybody come on screen.
Yeah.
And I knew Wild Bill was going to give his opinion, and I have had Wild Bill's opinion before on different things, so I kind of know how he talks.
Yeah.
So that's why I told him to wait.
Yeah.
Exactly, well, Robert.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Well, different. That's what
honestly,
makes the world keep spinning. So.
I was. and I don't mean this as offensive to anybody, but honestly, the one person I was terrified of scaring away with what I was saying
Yeah.
was Robert.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was just going to hear me start talking and then just nope the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So thank you, Robert, for sticking with me.
Yeah, well, everyone I saw it, when everyone I saw it, because you actually put in the description kind of what this stream was going to be about. And when I read that line, I was like, yeah, I don't know how Wild Bill or Robert are going to feel about this. But yeah, so, because, I mean, because not to mention, I also know that Wild Bill is very strict and he always tells the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew for a fact he wasn't going to sugarcoat anything.
No.
Like whatever he had to say to you, he was going to say it to you, regardless of your feelings. Because that's one thing I understand about like Wild Bill and maybe other people in the group, but mostly Wild Bill, that he will literally tell you his personal opinion and the truth, like about something. Like he won't sugarcoat something just for the sake of your feelings or something.
No, he won't.
Yeah, so
And
because
I like that about him.
Yeah, and I've always liked that about him too. So he would actually tell me that, like, if I asked him a question, he'd actually tell me what he really thinks about something, and he's not gonna try to dumb it down a little bit just to try not to hurt my feelings or something.
No, that's why I don't.
Oh yeah. Oh well, Robert said he was spitting straight facts, as the kids say these days.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
That was one reason that I was kind of hoping he would come on screen.
Yeah.
Was because I kind of figured he would do that.
Yeah.
And he would do it in an open way and not try to shove it down my throat and tell me you're wrong and you're going to hell.
Yeah.
You know?
Can you just imagine? To be honest, even though I know Wild Bill always speaks his mind and he's always tell the truth and everything, I mean, even I would be surprised if that was actually Wild Bill's approach to this whole conversation was just saying you're going to hell. Well, because to be honest, Wild Bill always, I feel like Wild Bill always comes prepared, or he always does his research enough or knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't think he would literally just say something if he doesn't even believe it himself, or if he doesn't feel confident enough in what he was actually saying. So, but yeah, this was a really nice conversation. I'm glad that it went better than you expected, though, Trish.
Me too.
Because I mean, there's no telling where it could have gone.
Yeah, if it had been seriously, if it had been any other group of people, it never would have gone this well.
Yeah, it probably would have. It could have been a disaster, to be honest. I mean, there's always that chance.
Yeah, I'd have got 2 or 3 lines into what I was saying, and everybody would have left, or they all would have been preaching at me.
Oh yeah. Well, if you think about it, Wild Bill waited until you got most of your thoughts before you asked to come on screen. He could have literally just asked that right away. Like you started talking, and then all of a sudden the first comment you say, "Can I come on screen, Trish?" Like, oh, you'd be like, "Oh shit, I offended him."
And I appreciated that he let me get out what I needed to get out.
Yeah.
And he understood because he had doubted himself, you know.
Yeah.
And I think most of us have. Most of us just don't admit it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Some people, I feel like that's another thing about Christians. Some Christians are too proud to admit their own faults or their own, like, I don't know, like, the own times that they've questioned their faith or came close to losing it or something. Because they don't want, maybe they feel like it's a sign of weakness and they don't want to come off as weak to other people for some reason.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, one thing I've always been, like, one thing I was always raised, like, told growing up was that nobody's perfect. So I don't know why some people try so hard to try to be perfect. Like, I mean, I can understand like some people are like perfectionists and like in the things they do, like things they may make their career out of or something. But yeah, I mean, I just don't understand why some people can't admit to making mistakes sometimes. Because I mean, like we all make mistakes, so I don't know why some people try to pretend that they don't. Like, oh no, I'm a perfect human being, or something like.
No,
Yeah,
they act like they are, but we know they're not.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, at least we. I mean, we. I guess that kind of is very telling about some people, though. Once you meet them and they come off that way, then I mean,
Yeah.
they're definitely showing. They're definitely. I guess it's what you when you would say that. Oh, the true colors are coming out, or we could see the true. Like
Yeah.
we could definitely see
Oh,
the
yeah.
true colors because, like, if they're talking that way, acting that way, then those are the type of people that I would probably actually consider toxic, like, and to stay away.
Yes.
Because I mean, I was wondering if like some of these, I mean, because I can understand like maybe you could be friends to like pretty much anybody and stuff, like no matter what their beliefs are and everything. But I feel like if you met someone and they come off as preachy to you or something, I can't really see you wanting to engage much with them, like if at all, because it will be like a losing battle always.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're never going to get through to them because they're too set in their ways. They made up their minds. They're never going to change. They're okay, so.
It's a really scary thing to go through.
Yeah. Oh yeah, welcome back, Wild Bill. You're backy.
Hey,
And
welcome back, Wild Bill.
your puppy's in the background, your little puppy.
Oh, look at the baby. No, it's a really scary thing to go through because my faith, technically speaking, had never really been shaken. I had just never questioned anything.
Yeah.
And when I started to question and I started to doubt, all I could think was things like, oh God, I have believed this my whole life. What am I without God? You know, I've had God in my head, in my heart, in my life, my whole entire life. What am I without him in my life? I had nothing. I had nothing to believe in, and I needed something to believe in because I felt like without something to believe in, what is the point? And it's scary as shit because you can't talk to the people around here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, because I assume that was one reason why you said that our group is basically the only people you can really have this kind of conversation with because. Oh yeah, look at the puppy trying to get attention.
I'm giving you attention.
Yeah. But yeah, I can understand because there's some people around here where I live that I can't have like conversations like this with because they're always like up in arms and like there's so many people that I feel like would want to throw hands just for the simple fact of me saying something like, oh, I'm questioning my faith, or I've recently lost my faith. And they'll be like, well, then you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Or something.
I'm telling you right now, if it had not been for me being able to talk to my son,
yeah,
I probably would have lost my mind.
Oh yeah.
It broke me down that badly.
Oh yeah, I was wondering since you've been planning this, or at least recently planning to have the stream and everything, or to talk about this. I was wondering if there was some moments like behind this, like off screen that we didn't even know about you, Trish. Like there was a time that you actually broke down crying and didn't know, or like that you had these moments where you felt lost or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That-
Exactly that.
Yeah, that we didn't even see, that we couldn't even see, that you never shown to us. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
because, well, like I said, I'd been going through it for 2 or 3 months, and
Yeah.
it broke me down bad. And if I hadn't had my son to talk to,
yeah,
I probably would have just lost my mind.
yeah,
Well, think about it like this, Trish. Okay. Now your doubt, like you have doubts, right?
Hmm.
And it's not uncommon for any of us to have doubts. Because let me tell you something. Here's what people still don't get, right? Okay. Jesus' most devoted followers, his disciples, his 12 disciples that he chose himself, still doubted. They said that what they watched that man heal the lame. They watched they watched him make the blind see again. They watched him cure people of leprosy. They watched him rise the dead. Okay, and still they had doubts when Jesus said, "I'm going to die and come back on the third day." They didn't believe it till they actually seen it. Think
And
about
even then, Thomas still doubted.
it. Yeah, doubting
It's
Thomas.
it's it yeah, that's the expression doubting Thomas comes from.
Yep. And he didn't believe it till he stuck his fingers in Jesus' hands and felt the holes where they nailed him to the cross.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, the people that think that, oh well, you shouldn't doubt or whatever. People are gonna have doubts. I mean his most still. I don't think Mary Magdalene actually believed it till she really realized it was Jesus.
hmm.
Well, guys, I think I'm gonna go because I got to get up. I got to be at work at 5 a.m. in the morning anyway.
Oh my God.
So
Well, damn. Oh, I was gonna
yeah.
say, like, it's still kind of early. Well, but I didn't know that
Yeah.
you were going to bed this early.
Yeah, and plus, the dog's over here kind of whimpering and stuff, so I'm gonna try to get him
Oh,
calmed
the baby
down.
needs attention.
Aw.
I know.
Well, good
Y'all
night,
have a
Wild
good
Billy
one,
Goat.
alright?
Yeah, good night, Wild Billy Goat.
All right. Good night,
Y'all
Wild
take-
Bill, and thank you.
You're welcome. No problem.
Yeah, that was awesome. I wonder what Robert's doing.
He's probably kicked back, taking it easy. He may have a plate full of food.
Oh yeah. Well, the reason why I asked is because I didn't know if Robert wanted to come on screen for a little bit or not.
Well, the link is there if he wants to come up. He knows he can.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a really nice conversation and stream, though, Trish. And
It really is.
yeah, like even though most of this conversation was very serious and everything, I mean, just like I said in your stream the other night, Trish. I mean, I kind of miss like having these kind of conversations, these deep conversations, like sitting outside enjoying the nice weather before it turns to shit.
Well, now that's a good thing to do, because if you get my weather, in a couple of days it will turn to shit for you.
Oh yeah, that's what's so crazy, because I think when you streamed on your birthday, you actually said you had nice weather that day or
It
something.
was
like
beautiful.
Yeah, on Friday. Wow. It's crazy how fast, I mean, things can change. Or like even the weather changes. Yeah, because you can have nice weather one day and then the next it can all go to shit
Oh yeah.
in like a blink of an eye. Like I said, I mean, we've been getting a little nice weather the last couple of days, but I mean, today it was a little windy, or maybe a lot windy at certain points. Although it does say it's 85 degrees right now, so we're already getting weather in the 80s.
Holy cow.
happy about it. The temp in the 80s. I guess that means summer's on its way, or summer's
Oh, yeah.
here, or something like. Well, because we're starting to get that kind of weather here. Hmm. Yeah, at least Sir Robert's enjoying the weather he's getting right now.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I hope you guys don't get the rainy, cold weather that I just got. I hope y'all don't get it.
Oh, is that what you pretty much had all day, or?
Yeah.
So were
'Cause
you
if it-
out? Were you out in it any today, or?
Oh, yeah. Well, a little, yeah, because as soon as because I went out to do my laundry, and
Yeah.
as soon as my laundry got done and I got it back in the car, I got in the car and sat down to leave, and it started raining.
Oh, damn. Yeah. They said here we could see temps in the 90s. Dear Lord, I'm not ready for that.
Oh, God.
The 90s. Oh, no. Oh, no, Robert. Because, I mean, that's the main thing I can't stand about the summertime is pretty much the heat, especially, or how hot it can get. Because I remember last year we were getting days like in the late 90s and early hundreds. And that's ridiculously hot.
Well, when you get that perfect weather, make sure that you take advantage of it by just going out and enjoying it, even if it's just like Robert sitting on the porch enjoying the weather.
Yeah, you definitely need to enjoy the weather. Especially if it's a nice day and it's not too hot.
You get like 75, perfect. Sunny, 75, that's perfect.
Oh yeah, that's actually what I would consider the perfect weather too.
Unless
Is
I'm-
basically, yeah, I would say the perfect
Yeah,
weather
unless
for
I'm
me
having a
is-
hot flash.
Yeah, unless you're having a hot flash. Yeah. Oh yeah, hey Greg.
Hey, Greg.
But yeah, that's what I would say. To me, the perfect weather is somewhere between like the mid, 70s. Like I can handle a little bit in the late 70s, but once it starts getting to 80, then that's when I would consider it starting to get really hot. Hello to the other two who have been watching and not commenting. You can comment. We won't bite unless you like that kind of thing. And to add on to Robert's comment, giggity.
That's right.
Here in Iowa right now is 88. Happy about it? Although 88's kind of too warm for my liking. Or at least, yeah.
That's
I mean,
a bit warm.
yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, at least it's. I always say this about the 80s. At least it's not in the 90s, because I know in the 90s that's when it's really hot.
Especially if it's humid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The humidity. That's one thing that I can't stand about Oklahoma weather is the humidity here. It's hot. I'm literally sweating right now.
No. Okay. I can move now. I'm almost charged. I had to come over here where I'm at now because my computer was dying.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want it to die in the middle of what I was saying.
Okay, so your laptop is almost fully charged now?
Yeah.
So you're about to go back to your bedroom or wherever you were before?
Well, I was in the living room, but I think it's a little dingy over there now. I may have to go into the bedroom.
Okay. Trish is taking us on a virtual road trip to the bedroom.
Okay.
We're down.
There we go.
Now, here we go. Virtual road trip, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Yeah. And Greg said we. Like we. Now we're back in Trish's bedroom.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to be on much longer.
Okay. That's fine. I'm probably gonna need to get something to eat here before long anyway. So.
Okay, well, if I get a wild hair, I might come back on again later, but I don't know. I'll probably be watching the Big Boys. I've got
Okay.
I've got a big plate of food.
Yeah. I miss you sitting in the kitchen on the store trying not to fall. Oh.
My son gave me this big plate of food, and I know y'all probably saw me. I took a couple of bites while I was sitting there. Oh my God. It is so freaking good. I can't get it out of my head now, and I want it.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh Trish, I got 2
Pepperonis?
Shania shirts, and I might wear one if I do see her on concert.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I was actually just thinking that about like what Robert said, because I was like, I remember when you used to sit on the store in the kitchen, and you would always like bang your knee or something. Those were the good old days. That was a knee slapping good time. Yeah, that's right, Robert. It definitely was. I remember those knee slapping good times.
Sorry, I muted it because I was talking to my son.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. The dyed one and black one. I forgot how to read. Plus the Queen of Me CD with the signed insert. Holy shit.
Oh yeah. But yeah, what Robert said, Trish. So, do you miss the knee slapping good times?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, the knee slapping good time.
When I was listening to that album a while ago, I tried. I was trying not to sing along with it because it's still so new to me that I don't know the lyrics, and I was trying not to interfere as I was listening.
Yeah.
But I had to try it just one time in the song "Queen of Me" when she says, "I'm busy being queen of me." I went, "I'm busy being Ice Pet's queen."
Oh wow.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Yeah, Robert said, well, Trish, you have a good night. And if you feel like coming back on, I'll join on camera then.
Okay. Well, I know I'm going to have to run to the store.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, I mean, if you do like plan on doing another stream like later tonight or something, I'll try to join then too. I'll definitely be looking out for notification of you going live or something. Or
okay. If I do, I'll probably go ahead and post it in that little group that we're in.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't know because I'll probably be watching the Duke Boys, so I don't know if I will or not.
Okay. If not, not as good as an ass spanking good time, Mellow. Well,
well, no, I do have to agree with that.
Yeah, an ass spanking, oh baby. But yeah, if you ever want to do it, I mean, if you ever plan on going live again within the next few days or something, then I mean that would be cool too.
Okay. Well, I will see you guys later, and by later I mean just whenever I go live next time.
Yeah, the next time she goes live. So keep a lookout.
Oh yeah. But guys, thank you for hearing me out. And thank you for discussing it with me
Yeah.
and giving me different views and different opinions and not being judgmental. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for being so understanding.
Yeah, because I mean, it is. I mean, it does feel like it's pretty easy to be judgmental these days.
Okay, well, good night, Justin. Have a good
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. Good night, just
All
Don.
right. Well, Bill, you get some rest and be careful at work.
Yeah.
And Robert, enjoy the hell out of that weather.
Yeah.
And Alvin, enjoy whatever it is that you get to eat.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Trish.
All right. But guys, actually feel comfortable enough to do this again. I think that is going to do it for now. This is Ice Pets Queen, and I am tripping out.
Tripping out.